I was looking at the map of the Middle East the other day. Totally not because it's getting shoved down my neck by the news, but like I kept staring at this tiny little sliver of water called the Strait of Hormuz. And this thing is so microscopic, it's a bottleneck in the ocean. And I found out something like 25 to 35% of the world's fertilizers, raw materials, that stuff that literally makes the grass green and corn grow, has to squeeze through this tiny little gap. One bad day in a part of the world, one turmoil too many, and the global food supply basically shuts down and stops breathing. It's what I like to call the fragility of the invisible. We live in this high tech digital area where we think everything is disconnected from the dirt. We worry about the cloud algorithms now, but we're really actually three missed shipments away from total societal collapse. I don't know what it is about this, but like the fragility of this invisible explores the most fundamental forces of those things that we cannot see. They are often the most delicate and crucial to maintain. I'm reading agriculture economics for fun, and it's wild. Like the Eastern Canada, they're looking at inventories, and they are the lowest they've been since 2017. Think about that. 2017, freaking 9 years ago. It's insane. Like, it's the weird psychological trap, isn't it? We built this world where a farmer in Ontario, a guy who just wants to plant some corn and live his life, is completely at the mercy of a geopolitical grudge match 10,000 miles away, not able to afford the basic of necessities to grow his crops because the invisible chemicals that he needs are stuck behind a naval blockade. The sad reality of it is we'd like to think we're in control. We really think we're independent of entities of our own destiny, but we're really just on one tightrope walking on a global supply chain that's held together by these thin little ropes and scotch tape. We've basically traded our security for efficiency. And now, when the just in time delivery doesn't show up, we realize just how thin that ice we're standing on actually is. Even now, as I'm talking, ships are literally being attacked. Others are just waiting, sitting in open water, engines off, because no one wants to be the next target. And when the ships don't move, nothing moves. I read somewhere estimates suggest up to 13 to 14 million barrels of oil per day could be affected if this disruption continues. That's not just a supply issue, that's a global shock. And if that doesn't feel real yet, here's something that might. The markets are already reacting to this. Confidence is slipping away. Investors are pulling back not because something has happened, but because something of what might happen. The S&P 500, an index tracking the 500 of the largest companies in the world, has just logged its fifth straight decline. Its worst stretch since 2022. And that's just how fragile this all is. It's not just the physical goods, it's the belief. The moment people lose confidence in the system starts to crack. So now you've got it all happening at once. Ships slowing down, oil tightening, prices rising, and markets falling. All tied to a narrow stretch of water most people couldn't even point to on a map. And the craziest part, you don't see any of it. It just shows up in the price of gas and in your groceries. I know this is a heavy concept. So, in the case, maybe next time you go to fill up for gas and see a skyrocketed prices or a cereal that costs $3 or more than it did last week, remember about the little gap in the ocean and ask yourself about just how much your way of life is and just how much of that dependence you are on things you don't actually see, such as people you'll never meet, the places you'll never end up going, and that hard work taken for that product to be there standing in front of you with an overpriced stick. Let me know in the comments of anything you've noticed hike up in prices. I'd like to hear your take. Could a box of Pop Tarts maybe grow to be worth more something like the next COD game? Like, who knows? As always, thank you for listening and stay safe out there.